Hello, my friends. Hope everybody is doing well. Let's see if I can log into the chat here so I can see everybody. So we're going to chat about the Ariumi Vast. And this is a brand new instrument that they just released. I can log into the chat here. Perfect, we're working. Hey, hello, my day's going great. It's been very rainy here. We've had a lot of wet weather this year, so it's been a good day to do stuff inside and set up the new apartment and all of that. So for anybody that hasn't tried or heard the Ariumi yet, if you check out on my Rewild Your Soul channel, I just posted a video of me playing about a 7-minute piece on it. And I thought today we could go through kind of the chord progressions that are available on the scale, talk about why it's different than a lot of other RAV scales, and also provide sort of who would be interested in it and what it would be best used for. This scale is different than a lot of other instruments in that it's designed for songwriting. In the same way, actually, that the Mystic, the scale that I helped to bring to market, I felt like that was good for songwriters. Same with the Marara. Marara has a really great pull for songwriters. This is designed in a way that it has a lot of the bottom notes of about 1, 4, 5, and 6 chords. So you're able to use that in a lot of covers. Can't do any covers in the live stream. You could do them on your own channels, but it'll flag the video if you do it on the live stream. But Boys of Summer, there's a ton of different songs that you can play on the Ariumi scale. And I think the appeal for this instrument is going to be in people that want to do covers. There's some other ones. One of Us by Joan Osborne, Let It Be also works on here. A lot of common pop songs use this progression. So it's a great scale for people that are looking to actually play covers. A lot of times when people are getting a RAV, they're trying to choose an instrument that completes the set that they already have, if they have a hand pan already or they have other RAVs, or they might be looking to just do covers, so they pick a D minor or a B minor. That isn't always the best way to choose an instrument. I really think that in general, RAVs are better as standalone instruments or played with other people, but using them as kind of the parameter to help you play with others. Whereas this scale is designed for people that want to play covers or want to write music because of the layout. And it's going to work really well with F major and sort of D minor. So feels very different to play. If you imagine that you have almost like 3 dings and the top half of the scale from the 5 up, or the 4 up even, gives you through the melodic pull. So here's what the scale sounds like. How's my audio? Is my audio okay on here, guys? Okay. If the audio gets bad, just let me know. I'm gonna pause this. Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad to hear that. If you need any tips, let me know. What scale did you get? So this is the A sharp or B flat, Ariumi. And the notes of this guy are A sharp or B flat, C, D, F, A, C, E, F, A. So it's unusual to have one that has a center note that's laid out like this, and I think that's going to be ultimately be what makes this a popular scale, is that you pretty much have from here all the way up to the 3 or the 4 as your root notes for chords. So let me give you a little sound example. This is just a piece of what I recorded the other day. That's awesome. That's really cool. That's amazing that your 6-year-old is around music that much. I actually have a music student. I don't know if she's watching right now, but her name's Emma. My Friday student, Sarah, has a 6-year-old daughter who's been taking rap lessons from me for maybe like 4 months now, 3 months, and has been doing an amazing job. So it's pretty amazing that someone around 6 can start to pick up a rav or other instruments and start playing them at that age. So that's amazing interexistence. I'm happy to hear that. So whoever's watching this, I can't really see how many people are watching it on my end, but what are your impressions about the sound of this instrument so far, the scale? As I was saying before, when you're playing it, you kind of have to think about the way in which it's arranged. And I'm going to be doing a couple tutorials coming up and a full review for the RAV page and my personal Rewild Your Soul page. Also, if you're getting this scale and you're watching this after the fact, I offer one-on-one Zoom lessons that are really easy song-based compositions that you can kind of pick up and grow with, and it works at all different levels, so I adapt my pieces to that. So I have a bunch of material that's going to be coming up for this for free and also in Zoom lessons. But as I was saying, these top notes really have the most pull for the melody. So I'm really thinking about how do I combine this top half with these bottom notes. And it's designed for someone who teaches the way that I teach, in that I like to think of the instrument as chopped in half like this. Bottom notes, sort of the root notes and the progression. Top notes are sort of the support for the bottom half. This doesn't mean you can't play dyads and triads on the top, but this scale is really meant to use the lower notes, sort of like you're playing the lowest note if you were playing guitar and you took out some of the strings at the bottom and just played maybe 2 notes at the top, like a dyad of a G or a dyad of a C. That's kind of how I'm imagining playing this. So I'm thinking about this as the lowest part of my guitar strings, and I'm filling the highest end of my guitar with the melodic parts on top. So listen to the progression. If I were to start on, let's say I start on the 4 walking down. I'm thinking of as part of the melodic portion of it. You mix it up to keep them getting stuck. I think for this, a lot of horizontal movements are going to be helpful. Also, listening to songs that use that 1, 4, 5, or 6 sort of progression would be good to give you an idea of how you could write something and organize it. I think a lot of people are going to hear this as related to the Golden Gate or related to the Marara, because it has a similar feel to it. It just has an extension off the bottom that brings it into a different realm. Also varying the ways that you're playing it. So if I'm using sort of a walk-up, basically, you're going to omit one of the side notes or 2 of the side notes if you're wanting to build a progression that feels different. And in that case, I was skipping the 2, which is that sort of more minor feel. And I was just using the 1 in the center as my primary. Other option is you could play it in the same sort of way that we would if we were playing something that was more percussive. If I was doing like, So swapping up like that, but I think for people, if you're not aware of what notes are related to each other, they may fall into the same habits of Golden Gate and habits of Marara, where you get stuck in only using this relationship. And if we were to ignore the 1 in this one, the center in the 2 is closer to the relationship between the Marara than this one. So if it's kind of like the bottom part of my song on Lux Natura as well. So I think it's going to take a little bit for people to adjust to it, but if you're looking to play covers, great choice. If you're looking to write music and have either a good ear, you don't need to know what you're playing in order to play well, or you are able to kind of adapt your playing, that you're thinking that melodic part is this part, root notes are here, then you'll be fine with it. I want to give you an example. I'm going to play something quick again between the 2. If you have any questions as well, be sure to post those in here as I'm playing. I'm going to change my camera. I want you to hear the difference between the Ariumi on the Rav and also the Ariumi on the Moon. Very different feeling. I think that I like them for different reasons, but I'll quickly play that little melody I played before. Same thing reproduced on the Moon sounds like this. Completely different sound. I'll change my camera. Very different sound. There's less contact noise on the Moons. So for people that are looking for more of the harmonics and less of the contact noise, this is a great choice. For people that want the depth and richness of it, the Vast is a great choice. So it's kind of just what flavor you're looking for. I can see that the Vast version of it, the Rav Vast Ariumi, will go a little bit better with other people playing guitar or piano, mainly guitar. So I would recommend this one over the Moon size one, but both of them could work as long as you're playing with someone that knows what they're doing. So I would rely on my ear to do it. Other people that are trained in a different way would use logic to find what notes you're playing. So I wanted to compare that same sort of thing on the Marara to give you an idea of, even though they're a half step off from each other, they have a similar feel. So if people are looking into the Ariumi, the Marara might be a nice secondary one to think about if you wanted something that was slightly lower than the Ariumi. So let's do a comparison here with the Marara. If you guys have any questions, again, feel free to write them in there and I will answer them. If you have questions after the stream as well, feel free to write them and I'll try to write back. Or I'll have Rav write back for me as well. So this is the Golden Marara. And the Marara is actually a scale that I helped to bring into market. It was something that was a prototype. I have it somewhere over here. And the prototype had been just in the warehouse for a while. They didn't really like it. They thought it was kind of too sad. And I was like, oh, send it to me. I'll try it and I'll send you a demo so you can see if you like it or not. And I was absolutely in love with it the first time I played it because it sounded so different than every other scale. And the Marara is already a scale. It's an Aegean scale. It's an Aegean scale that's pulled down to A. Normally Aegean handpan scales are in C, sometimes in D, but mostly in C. But moving it to A makes it feel completely different. A lot of times if you're picking a scale, choosing the key that feels best for what you want to do with it is useful. a B Celtic and a D Celtic are the same scale, but one of them feels a lot better than the other one for certain styles of playing. So you kind of have to choose something that fits your style. So this is the same pattern I just played, or same song that was played on the Ariumi Rav Vast on the Marara. Very different. The resolution point for the Marara is the left side. And I think that will be the tricky thing if you already have a Marara or you have a chord. The sort of home base is on the right-hand side with the center 3 and 5 on the Ariumi. And if you're used to Marara, then that's a little bit trickier. But this can do a little bit more of focusing on the bottom half, not just as support, but as part of the melodic portion. So an example on this scale. This is off of Lux Natura, my album from a couple years ago. The Marara has a lot of tension in a lot of the half steps. And I think the Ariumi is a good midway point between the two. They don't really sound the same, but in my mind, they feel similar. But I would use the Ariumi more for bottom note focused music and then building from that. So, oh, you got a D Celtic, fantastic. What do you think of the Moon, Leonid? It's fantastic. The D Celtic actually sounds amazing on the Rav Moon, and I think that size, they picked a really good center note key for that. I think D is a perfect sound for that size. I think my favorite on the Rav Vast would be G. I like them all, but G is a really good key for the Rav Vast. The Vast 2, which they don't differentiate between the two, but there's a thicker steel and a slightly thinner steel. I think that the Golden Gate sounds really great on the thicker steel. And also all of the B's sound really nice, but I think G and C are two of my favorites. D on the Moon, amazing. So, oh, nice, you got a 432. Nice. I actually have a 432 Rav Pygmy, which I can grab if you want to check that out. I'm going to play, actually, this could be a good thing. I'm going to go back to this instrument as well in a second, the Ariumi, but maybe I'll compare a couple other things, because I think that'll be a lot to talk about in 1 hour if I'm just talking about the Ariumi. So let me grab you a Pygmy, which I have right here. There it is. And I'll grab a G432 Pygmy as well. Okay. To me, as somebody that has very, very good relative pitch, I don't know if I have perfect pitch, but I have very good relative pitch. I struggle personally with 432 instruments. I like the idea of them, I make flutes that are tuned to 432, but as someone that's always using the reference of 440, my ear takes a minute to adjust. Leonard, if you go and move where you're striking, you can get the moon to be just as loud as the Rav. A lot of even Rav's demo videos are hitting them in the wrong area. So if you're looking at the notes, say you're looking at this note, right? This area is not going to give you much sound. This area is going to give you a lot of sound. So you want to aim for the larger of the two sides. And thumbs work really well for all of those as well. So again, for this one, it wouldn't be this area that you'd want to hit. It would be down here. Same deal for here, not up here, but down here. The moons, the way I'm playing them now, are just as loud as the Ravs are. So eventually you'll be able to get your strike volume up a lot, but it's just technique. So this is a comparison between the G432, this is a G pygmy, and I'm going to play a G440 as well. And you guys tell me in the comments which of the two you prefer. This is a normal G pygmy. And depending on if you're doing sort of sound healing work and you're in that field and you like the 432, you should go for it. This is G pygmy with standard tuning A440. They're pretty similar. There's I think for my ears, there's a warmth to the 432 versus the 440. And anything that's a little bit lower pitched has a tendency to sound warmer, and higher pitch has a tendency to sound brighter. And that doesn't have to do with the 432. It just means anything pitched lower, it has a warmer feel, at least in my mind. But play you guys something on the Ariumi again. Yeah, I agree with you. Oh, that's awesome, man. I'm excited. SK, I'm not surprised as another fellow musician that plays other instruments and sings. You're an amazing singer. I think people that have a reference pitch in their head and have some musical training have a harder time dealing with 432, not because it sounds bad, it just sounds different to people that have a constant reference of standard pitch. I don't know if you guys have heard the story around 432 hertz, but I kind of like the story. I'm willing to believe the story, but there was no consensus around tuning, like what the standard orchestral tuning was. So some places were 444, some places were 432. So whenever musicians would go to a different place, if they had to tune to a reference pitch, it was different in different countries. So at some point, they decided to choose a standard pitch for A, and supposedly had to do with World War II and the effect it had on human beings. And music in the 432 belief system has a sort of a negative impact on our biology because it's not tuned in the way that nature would want it to be tuned. And this is partially true if you were to use just intonation. There's an instrument that by a handpan maker friend, Sebastian, who uses just intonation, who uses non-equal temperament. So 432 and non-equal temperament, I suppose, could be considered that, but then you run into all sorts of problems. So their version of 432 that Rav is using is probably the easiest to work with because it's going to work with any standard 432 hertz instrument. So ultimately, if it feels good, you like it, that's fine. The only thing you have to be mindful of if you have a 432 instrument is that it's going to be different playing with other people because they're not going to be able to play in the same pitch as you unless they have 432. So, back to the Ariumi. Again, any questions, feel free to ask. If anybody is in the New England area, I have a concert coming up at the end of this month, August 30th. It's called Spirit Voices, and it's going to be myself, Amy Naylor, Dan Mulqueen, and Jim Lepressy, who's helping to put it on. It's going to be a really diverse crew. Oh, and Sarah Hayes Parker, too. It's going to be a really diverse crew of players there. All different styles, songwriting, more improv and voice, more sort of folksy, instrumental stuff. So I think people would be very interested in that if you're interested in handpans or ravs. I'm going to be playing some of the ravs there as well. So it could be a good event. There haven't been many East Coast handpan events that are larger. So is there a reason why no ravs and handpans are tuned to Indians ragas? So I think the only reason for that is that ravs are limited by what notes work and don't have interaction between the tongues. So maybe I don't know if they've tried them or they haven't, but I bet if you were to suggest it to them, maybe it wouldn't happen anytime soon, but they would probably be open to trying it out sometime. That's why custom scales are hard to do on the rav. There's a lot of testing that has to go into how are they going to angle the tongue so there's not an interaction. How are they going to space them out? What's the right arrangement? What's the right key to put it in? So that's mostly why. Handpans are a little bit different because they are a little bit more adaptable in position, so they don't have the construction of a rav. So handpans can be tuned to ragas a little bit more easily, but Ragades is a good one. Mahara, which I would say Arabian Nights is probably closest to what's it called? What is that? Not Humayun. There's a raga that has sort of a minor feel with a lot of half steps in it, and that one's kind of similar to the Arabian Nights rav. But yeah, that would be an interesting thing to ask them if you were interested in discovering more about that. Way back when handpans first existed, they tried all different microtonal scales, every sort of scale you can imagine, and they worked well for some instruments. They didn't work as well for others. So I think Rav is interested in producing a consistent product. So for people just joining, I'm going to play a little bit on the Ariumi Rav Vast and then also on the Moon again, in case you're just joining here. Any questions, feel free to ask. I'm not sure what that is saying in the background there. Hopefully the audio is good as well. And let's see. Oh, good. We have 57 people watching. Nice. If you guys could as well, whoever's watching, can you hit the like button on there too? That helps Rav and helps myself out. And if anybody's interested, I offer one-on-one Zoom lessons, and you can reach me on rewildyoursoulmusic.com. And I have tons of albums on Spotify. Just search for Rewild Your Soul. Show how to create a simple melody chord progression. Yeah, that's kind of what I did. So I'll definitely show you that. So if you wanted to make a melody and a chord progression, you would pick lower notes. So you have ding or center, 1, 2, 3, right? Ah, gotcha. So pick one of these 3 notes, right? So say we start with the 2, right? We're going to find a note on the top half that feels related to that. So kind of like the 2 and the 7, right? Hit them at the same time. Now we have a choice. We either stay on this for 3 more times. We're going to do like 4 strikes on this note. And we're going to look for 4 other notes to move to on here. So if I was doing, so 2 and 7 together, 6, 5, 4, 2 and 7, 6, 5, 4. And try the same thing with the center and 7. Then we can repeat that again from the 2 and 7, 6, 5, 4, 2 and 7, 6, 5, center and 7. Now, if we want to change what our root is, it's going to change the top note that we're going to want to relate to that. So if we go to the 1, we're going to want to go up to the 8. And then we're going to go back to the 7 with the 2. And then a nice resolving chord is center, 3, and 5. So all together that would sound like. A lot of the chords that Rav is claiming you can play on here as well are across. There's not many horizontal, although 2 and 3 work. 1 and 4 work. I can give you some of the pairs that work as well. So obviously the 1, 3, that works fine. So the 1 and 3, 1 and 2 don't work, but 1 and 4 work. 2 and 3 work together. 2 and 4 work. 2 and 5 work. 2 and 6. 2 and 7. 2 and 8. Yeah. Also for the 3. 3 and 7 work. 3 and 6. 3 and 5. 3 and 4. Same thing for the center. All of the notes work for that. So these are really your 3 main movements here. And if you choose from that, that's going to make it really easy. There's going to be other combinations, like I was playing in the piece that I played earlier. Case, I'm playing a lower note. I agree 100%. Yep. This is kind of the root for all of this. And then this is the root if you ignore the 1 and the 2. So it's kind of anchored like skipping these guys, or skipping the 1 and the 2 and doing. Those are the 2 primary movement areas. I agree completely, SK. Let me play again one more time through a portion of one of these, and I'll play it on the moon so you have a comparison back and forth. This is a version of one of those tunes. What do you guys think the sound differences or tonal differences between these two scales? Much brighter on the moon, for sure. So, very different sounds. I think you'd play differently on the moon versus on the Rav. The Rav you can approach in a way that you're familiar with. The moon takes a different touch to really work. I'm going to play a couple other scales just because I grabbed some around me. If anyone pops in the next 5-10 minutes as I'm finishing up here and wants to hear the Ariumi one more time, make sure you write it in the comments. But I'm going to play you a couple other different scales just because I happen to grab them. Oof. So this scale is not the Ariumi, but is unique. This was my third scale. Obviously this is an indigo generation, but my old one I have over there was an Anolio, a Bianolio, and I got it really early on in my playing and I didn't know what the heck to do with it. And eventually I wrote a piece on it that I still play. It's on my album Lux Natura. I like the Anolio versus the Arabian Nights for one reason. The Anolio has a different resolution. It has this sort of resolution on the bottom. The Arabian Nights has a resolution on the 1 and the 4, but it feels very different. So I'm going to play you this piece. This is called Jin on Luxentura. Yeah, the scale is pretty good for this. This Anolio feels like especially heavy. It's funny. Um, the vast twos. So to answer your question, Leonard, I would say that or your comment, the moons are about as loud as the scales that are made on the vast material, which is the G pygmy, the integral, the A Rus, but they don't make A Rus anymore. I would say that the B scales are louder, a little bit, but have less of the harmonics in them. They've stopped differentiating, but there's two different thicknesses that they sell. Doesn't mean anything for the sound, really, just one of them has a little bit more volume, one of them has a little bit more harmonics, but the Moons definitely are using that other type of steel, or other thickness of steel. Okay, so I'm going to play one more thing, and then I'm going to get to my 8 o'clock lesson. So, scale requests as a last scale to play. I could do one more on the Ariumi, maybe, and then one more on a different scale if we want. Let's see. I'll play one more on the Ariumi, and then you guys put a scale in the comments that you want to hear after that. So I'll play that piece that I wrote for anybody that missed it earlier. I'm trying not to give away too much of the material I've written so far on the Ariumi, because I'm going to be doing some lessons using it. Okay, here we go. Yes, I can do D major, sure. Let's see, Ariumi, and I'll do D major. I can only play the Moon because they have not sent me a new Indigo Generation D major. So, Rav, if you're listening to this, send me an Indigo Generation D major so I can use it on streams. I have an old one, but they prefer I play the new ones for you guys. I'm gonna grab that for you. One moment here. I wish I could turn the camera around and show you the wall of moons over here. Here it is. Okay. All right, so last tune. This will be on the Moon. There we go. D and A. I agree with you, for sure. Yeah, I agree with you. Let me know if the audio clips at all on this. What would be a good one to play on here? It's going to be interesting to play it on a Moon. guys go? This was a great stream. Lots of people in here, so yeah, I'm glad you could catch it too. Into existence. So anybody looking to hear Rav Moon music, I have a bunch up on my Rewild Your Soul YouTube channel. I do Zoom lessons, and I'm available for all sorts of levels, whether you're a beginner or you're further along and you're playing. And all of my lessons are song-based. So if you're looking to learn actual music, not just meander all the time, which is also fun and totally valid, come find me on rewildyoursoulmusic.com, or check out my albums Lux Natura, Lunaria, and Wild Spaces on Spotify, and just search for Rewild Your Soul, all one word, and you'll find it. So hope everyone has a great night. Hope you enjoyed the Ariumi and some other little scales I threw in there. And let us know in comments if you're watching this after, or in the chat right now, what you'd like to see next as a topic. I'm going to be doing these every Friday, so anything you guys are interested in, let us know. And you can write to me on my Instagram, Rewild Your Soul, or to Rav. So hope everyone has a fantastic evening, and I will talk to you guys soon. Thanks for hanging out.